Behind the Barbed Wire by Chester Maxwell Biggs Jr.
Your dad is retired Marine.
Retired Marine Corps. During the bombing of Pearl Harbor, he was on embassy duty, I guess you'd call it, in Peking, China, and they were taken prisoner on what was December 8th, 1941. The morning of December 8th, when they got up, the legation quarter in Peking and also Tientsin and other areas of China, they were surrounded. The Japanese had set up machine gun emplacement, and the problem was the days before they knew there was trouble coming, so they were preparing to leave the country. So they'd already shipped out all their heavy arms, and they only had small arms, side arms, and so forth. So when they woke up that morning, the Japanese had already surrounded them and had taken control of the legation quarter. He served in, I think, probably 5 or 6 different camps at least during the entire war. This group had some concerns or some issues as being taken prisoner. When the Japanese seized the compound, there were a lot of civilians there, not just embassy type people, but missionaries and civilians who had been in China for a long time. And so they were ordered by the president to stand down and to surrender. And they always felt bad that they did not, being a Marine, they did not fight. And for that reason, they had a lot of, self-doubt, I might say, but also when they were in prison camp, I know, speaking to him, that he said one of the times that really bothered him was when the Marines came in from Lake Island. They kind of shunned them because they had surrendered without fighting. And that bothered that group of Marines, I think, their entire lifetime. They were in the couple camps in China. They were also moved through Korea at one point. They were forced to do a lot of labor. They were forced to do things that was against the Geneva Convention. I know in his book he talks about they were forced to build what turned out to be a firing range for the Japanese soldiers where they could practice their marksmanship.
If we could, we had a quota of work we had to perform. You always had the Japanese in charge of the work gang. You did as little as possible, a very inefficient way, if you will, that you could get away with. It was all physical. There's no machine work. Everything that we did was by hand. Repairing roads and filling in potholes. All the tools are very crude. The only time we didn't fudge any was in a coal mine. You minded your P's and Q's there because you could have a cave-in.
And they were tortured, and medical treatment was terrible for them. He did testify after the war to the tribunal that was investigating war crimes in the Pacific. In the final stages of the war, they were in Japan, where they were until they were repatriated 15th of September 1945. After getting out of China and convalescing, he went back to the Marine Corps, and he served in Korea. He was at Incheon Landing, also the campaign involved in, I think it was called the Punch Bowl, and he also served at Chosun Reservoir with the Marine Detachment. The Chosun Reservoir, from everything I've read, because he never spoke of his time in Korea at all, they're referred to as the Frozen Chosun. So, yeah, it was pretty bad for the Marine Corps and everybody involved. I think The Greatest Generation really aptly describes those people from that period of time, because the things they did, and most of them never talked about it. That's what they did for love of country. So I think it's probably, if that term describes anybody, that would be the group. I served in the United States Navy. I was aboard the U.S. Constellation aircraft carrier. Homeported out of San Diego, California. Made 2 deployments to the West Pacific, as well as 2 deployments to the Indian Ocean during conflicts over there, during the Yemen conflict, and also during, we were off the coast during the Iranian hostage rescue attempt. Yes, 3 books. First one was Behind the Barbed Wire, about the enlisted experience of being a prisoner of war of the Japanese. It's available at the bookstore, at the Pacific Parks, and you can order it. I know it's available online through the publisher. He wrote a second book on the history of the North China Marines, and a third book called When Papa Was a Boy, which explained growing up in rural Oklahoma during the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression.